Auntie Ella, stop. Stop, stop. Chiboy said, Auntie Ella putting her hands in his trousers. She started doing things that Chiboy didn't understand. This game was completely different from the one he played with his friends at school. Chiboy was just 10 years old and in primary school. He loved playing football with his friends and reading storybooks. But most days, Chiboy came back from school to an empty house because his parents were always at work. Mr. and Mrs. Oki owned a big shop in the market. They worked very hard every day to make money, wanting to give Chiboy a good life. The school bus would drop Chiboy at home by 3 p.m. and he would be all alone until 6 p.m. when his mother returned from the market. "I'm so bored being at home alone," he complained to his parents one evening. "We are sorry, Chiboy. It's only for 3 hours," his mother replied. "We must work hard to pay for your school fees and other things." Chiboy understood, but sometimes he wished they had more time for him. One day, Mrs. Oki came up with an idea. "Chiboy," she said, "Auntie Ella next door will look after you until we come home." Auntie Ella was their neighbor, a young woman in her late 20s who lived alone. She was always smiling and friendly, so Chiboy's parents trusted her. "Okay, Mommy," Chiboy said. He was familiar with Auntie Ella. She was very kind and often gave him small treats. That's how Chiboy started staying at Auntie Ella's house after school. Auntie Ella's house was small but very neat. She always welcomed Chiboy with a plate of food and a big smile. "Chiboy, come and eat. How was school today?" she would ask. At first, Chiboy felt shy, but Auntie Ella was kind and told funny stories. She also let him watch cartoons on her TV. Chiboy started to enjoy staying there. One day, Auntie Ella gave him a special gift. It was a new football. "This is for you, Chiboy," she said. "You're like the little brother I never had." "Thank you, Auntie," Chiboy said, smiling. But soon, things started to change. One afternoon, after Chiboy finished his homework, Auntie Ella sat close to him on the couch. "Chiboy," she said, "let's play a special game. It's just for us. Don't tell anyone, okay?" Chiboy didn't understand, but Auntie Ella was smiling, so he thought it was harmless. She started doing things that made Chiboy feel very uncomfortable. This game was completely different from the ones he played with his friends at school. Chiboy felt confused and scared. "I don't like this game," Chiboy said softly. "Don't worry, you'll understand soon," Auntie Ella replied. The situation left Chiboy feeling strange and upset. He didn't know how to explain what was happening. The more time he spent at Auntie Ella's house, the more uncomfortable he became. At night, Chiboy began waking up to find his bed wet, something he hadn't done since he was much younger. At first, he thought it was an accident, but it kept happening. He felt ashamed and scared, unsure of why this was happening. One evening, Chiboy sat alone in his room, wishing he could talk to someone. The next day at school, Chiboy's teacher, Mrs. Adabo, noticed something was wrong. "Chiboy, who was usually cheerful and active, was now quiet and distant. "Chiboy, is everything okay?" she asked kindly. Chiboy hesitated, looking down at his desk. He didn't know how to answer. After class, Mrs. Adabo called Chiboy aside. "You can tell me anything," she said gently. Chiboy's eyes filled with tears. Finally, he whispered, "It's Auntie Ella. She makes me feel uncomfortable." Mrs. Adabo listened carefully and reassured Chiboy. "Thank you for telling me this. You're very brave, and this is not your fault. I will make sure you get the help you need." Mrs. Adabo informed the school counselor and principal, who immediately contacted Chiboy's parents. When Mr. and Mrs. Oki learned what had been happening, they were shocked and heartbroken. "We are so sorry, Chiboy," his mother said, holding him close. "We should have listened to you earlier." His father added, "We'll make sure you're safe from now on." The family went to the police to report Auntie Ella. Chiboy shared his story with a kind officer who promised to take action. Auntie Ella was arrested, and the neighborhood learned what she had been hiding behind her friendly smile. Chiboy's parents became more present in his life. They arranged their schedules to ensure someone was always home after school. They also took Chiboy to a counselor, who helped him process his emotions and heal. As time passed, Chiboy's bedwetting stopped, and he began to feel like himself again. He returned to playing football with his friends, smiling and laughing like before. One day, Chiboy approached Mrs. Adabo at school. "Thank you for helping me," he said. "You're very brave, Chiboy," she replied with a warm smile. Chiboy had learned an important lesson. It's always okay to speak up when something feels wrong, and there are people who will listen and protect you.